Welcome again, Maxim here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to successfully complete basic spy missions. These can be found in most sectors and on Corpus Proximus. But before I do that, a few more words. All missions you will see in this video were completed with Excalibur, without any additional help and tricks, but I still recommend playing with at least some form of invisibility. I have a lot of experience and knowledge about the game, its mechanics and spy missions. While invisible, you do not care about the eyes of cameras and enemies. For experienced players, it is a time savior, and for the newbies, it is almost necessary to learn a given room in peace. With it, you can easily learn to watch out and choose a path and technique that is convenient for you. And one more thing, I know that there are also two companions that can make Warframe invisible, I didn't mention in the last video, but their usage can be sometimes tricky. So I decided not to mention about them as a good option for spy missions, and focus on more reliable techniques and tricks. Spy rooms are divided into several groups, depending on the sector in which they are located. In some sectors, you will always meet exactly the same rooms, but there are also tile sets that have more possible vaults. In basic Grineer and Corpus spy missions, you will have 3 out of 6 vaults in total. Also, Corpus ones are in 2 variants, old and new. They differ a little bit from each other. Their place of occurrence is strictly defined, but knowing variant 1, you will easily complete the second one. We will get to them soon. Each spy will usually contain 3 data vaults. In this video, I will present and discuss areas that have 6 different vaults in their pool, and 3 are randomly selected for missions. In the next video, I will talk about sectors where the vault pool is always free, so you will have exactly the same rooms in every mission. These areas are Grineer Forest, Sea Lab, Kuva Fortress, Corpus Gas City and Lua. Let me remind you that the material you are seeing right now is the second of a series of 3 videos about spy missions. If you haven't seen the first part, I encourage you to check it out. There I explain how you can make this type of mission easier, what is useful, and which warframes have helpful skills, such as invisibility or those that will not trigger the alarms passing scanners and lasers. You can now find the link to this video in the upper right corner of the screen and as well in the description. Alright, let's start with the basic Grineer rooms. You will find them on Mercury, Mars, Ceres, Saturn and Sedna. The first room has 3 starting possibilities. You can go through the door ahead, destroying their scanner. Behind them is upper part of the main room. You can either go to the end of it and jump down, or from where you're standing, dash to the console, when no scanning drones are near. Second option, you can jump down through the grate that is in the front of the mentioned door with scanner. You will be on the same level as the drones. Avoid them and go to the console, or destroy them with one shot or hit. Otherwise, they will trigger the alarm. Third option, you can enter the side corridors after destroying the vent. Through the corridor, you can enter the main room in the middle or at the end. This area is relatively safe and you can freely look around from there to check where the regulators currently are. If you raise the alarm in this vault, you will be attacked by lynx, hanging in the middle of the main room. Second vault. Here you also have 3 options from the start. First, avoid the guards or drones patrolling the side passages. Destroy the scanner in the door and then avoid the next scanner, if you see any. Here you can either hack the console to activate the elevator that is located in the front of the starting point, or go down through the technical tunnel, avoiding the scanner and lasers. Both ways will take you to the data console. The third option in this vault is to go through the one of the 2 shafts. They are right behind the first doors on both sides. By jumping up and avoiding the traps, you will be in the place where you can hack the elevator or enter the technical tunnel. Third room. Here you can choose the back, bottom or top path. To get to the back, use zip lines, jump on them and walk, or use vent tunnels, or just jump over, avoiding the patrolling regulators. At the back of the room, hack the console to activate bridge and unlock the door to the data console. Don't forget to shoot off the scanner in the door. The bottom option is quite risky. Doable without invisibility or other tricks, but with high risk of detection. Downstairs, hack the console to call the elevator that will take you to the data console. Last and the simplest option in this room is to jump up and go down through the hole in the roof. There are two ways to start the fourth room. The right side requires dexterity. Go through a small hole and wall jump, avoiding lasers, until you reach the end of the corridor. There you have to jump into the ceiling vent. At the end of it, you will be above the main entrance to the data console. To get inside, jump through the next vent if it's open, or hack the panel to open the door. Now let's check the left side from the start. Two options here. First, avoid the drones or destroy them with one shot or hit. Hack two consoles to summon two platforms on which you will be able to walk to the last door. Second option is way faster. Just walk to the end of the corridor, turn, and make a long jump to the last door. This is the fastest way if you have invisibility. Fifth room. Here, after going through the hole on the right, you have several options. A pretty quick one is to jump onto pipes, then the balcony at the top of the corridor. There, by going through the tunnel, avoiding the lasers, you will fall onto the conveyor belt, just above the data console. You can get to it through the gap in the corner. Another way is to stay on the first conveyor belt. Going up, avoid scanners and lasers. You will get to the main part of the room. At the bottom is one mob and a regulator. At the right moment, you can hack the door without raising any alarms and get to the data console, but you will have just a few seconds to do so. High risk without invisibility. However, if you remember from the first video how to pass the kind of barrier, which is here, on the left side of the starting vent, and you have some form of invisibility, then this is the fastest way to complete the room. And the last basic Grineer spy room. As you enter, you will see holes in the walls, on the right and on the left under the ceiling. Each tunnel will lead you to the important place. To get rid of all obstacles quietly, you need to hack 3 consoles. The first one can be found by entering the hall on the right. This console removes first out of 2 scanners at the front of the data terminal. The second one can be found by going through the opposite passage from here and jumping down into a hole. Or you can go left at the start, through the corridor, avoiding the patrolling regulator, or through the upper left tunnel. You will reach the balcony with a console. This one opens the door to the data terminal. From this balcony, on the left, you can see a tunnel that leads to the console number 1. Under the tunnel, you will see a hole in the floor, the same one I mentioned before. It leads to the console number 2, but this is a less safe route. Safer is to go back, standing at the balcony. There's another way down. After jumping, either way, you will find a console that disables the second scanner. After hacking all 3, the data terminal is clear, and the door is open. If you are an experienced player, you don't have to turn off the lasers at the terminal. You can hack it by timing this perfectly, and doing it quickly or by using ciphers. However, if you turn the alarms, even if the door was already open, it will lock permanently. Then the only option to get inside is to use the cannon on the left. Click it, and after waiting a few seconds, an explosion will open the passage. This room is one of the most difficult ones, and I highly recommend using invisibility. Also a lot of consoles here, so invisibility from the Parazon mod will be ideal. Okay, let's move on to the basic Corpus rooms. You will find them on Venus, Neptune, Pluto, Europe, Phobos and the Corpus Proximus. A few words about the old and new variants. The newer ones are larger, but knowing what to do in one variant, you will easily find yourself in the other. Let's start with a simple one. Here, above the entrance, there may be a camera. The next ones will be on both sides, in the zones after the second laser. In the old variant, the cameras can be destroyed from a distance. The newer variant requires entering a given section, where the camera is, and destroying it when it turns to the other way. To reach the data console, you must pass the lasers and hack the door to the main terminal. Or use vents. Open ones will be procedurally selected, which will be open or damaged. The tunnels leading to the main terminal are on the sides of the vault and on the furthest wall. In the second room, you will find 2 or 3 moving lasers and the 2 to 4 cameras. Avoid the lasers by hiding in the small recesses in the corridor walls. After passing the left one, there will be a camera behind the corner. There is also a console on the left that disables the moving lasers. But watch out! In the new variant of this room, there is another camera here, pointed at that console. Then you can walk to the door, hack it, and behind the main data terminal awaits you, as well as the camera that can be pointed directly at the entrance. However, you can use 2 vents in this room if they are open. The first one, or 2 in the new variant, is on the ceiling, where the left laser is moving. The second vent is on the left to the last door. Be careful when entering this tunnel, because you will be passing through a room where an extra camera might be waiting. Finally, you will come out above the terminal, where you have to avoid or shoot down the camera below you, and possibly avoid moving lasers. The third room is one of the simpler ones. At the start, if you are in the old variant, turn off the floor lasers under the main terminal. Now, regardless the variant, you choose one of the routes. Through the vent tunnels, dodging and/or destroying the cameras until you reach the data console, or you can go through the doors, hack them one by one, and destroy the cameras. In the new variant, the floor lasers cannot be turned off, but there are stairs in front of the data console that you can freely step on or slide down from above. The next room is 2 long corridors. At the beginning of the first and at the end of the second corridor, cameras are located. In this vault, you will find horizontal and vertical lasers that you have to avoid at the right moment. You can try to avoid them all with one jump, but I do not recommend rushing, unless you are skilled. At the end of the second corridor is a console and a data unit behind it. Another option is to use vents. In this room, depending on the variant and availability, they can be located at the top end of the first corridor, on the sides of the second, and above the last door. The first 2 help you bypass the lasers in the second corridor, and the last one, if open, allows you to enter the room with the data terminal without hacking the door. You start the next room by going down the elevator. There, watch out for the cameras on the sides. Upon entering the main room, you can either start climbing up or try your luck with the back stairs and vents. However, this option is not always available. On higher enemy level missions, this way can be blocked if you don't use tricks to go through lasers without raising the alarms. Lasers are located on several floors, sometimes even on all of them. You can try to go down from the higher to lower levels by ventilation, if you can go through them, or through the doors. However, as I said, this path is sometimes completely inaccessible without proper Warframe. Without it, you have to climb up the middle part. There may be a few cameras on some levels. At the top, you will find a hall that will take you to the very bottom. You need to avoid moving lasers or use a Warframe with some skill to avoid triggering the alarms. For example, Loki can make a decoy downstairs and teleport with it. The last room of the basic Corpus spy missions is this room. Here you can take one of 2 ways, if both are open. On one side there is a vent, which leads you either to the door that guards the data terminal or straight to the terminal. It's random. But be careful. Behind one of the doors, the camera may be pointed right at the entrance. On the other side, the camera is 1 level below. Carefully check which vent is open or which is usable. Alternatively, you also have doors on both sides at the bottom and ventilation above them. This way, you will enter the main room of this vault, but it is not always possible to complete from the front without a Warframe, who can pass lasers without alarming. It depends on the variant and the level of the map. And that's all in this video. I hope it was helpful. In the next material, I will show you the remaining sectors: Grineer Forest on Earth, Uranus Sea Lab, Kuva Fortress, Corpus Gas City, and Lua. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, or visit one of my streams, link in the description. See you next time, bye.